Hey, Brian. Should the U.S. pay Ukraine in perpetuity?
I think a better answer that I would give, or maybe even a better question than that, is I believe that America should back our allies and shouldn't turn on our allies the way that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance did the other day.
They didn't turn on.
So the answer is yes. We should just give them as much money as they want. We should just waste as much blood and treasure as possible on this horrible, pointless, endless war. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
They gave him the blatant reality, which is, well, first of all, J.D. Vance said to Zelensky, and if you notice, Zelensky wouldn't address this. He was like, what are you going to do when you run out of men? And Zelensky's response was, have you been to Ukraine? Because nobody seems to want to address that issue. And then Zelensky said to Trump, we've been fighting this war alone. And Trump immediately called him out and said, no, you haven't. We've been funding you since day one. That's why people are pissed off.
So no, I disagree with you. First of all, I think the reason why people are pissed off because many in the Republican Party refuse to, first of all, call out that Putin is the one that started this war. Donald Trump.
What are you talking about, dude? Obviously, everyone knows that Putin started the fucking war. Trump may not blatantly say that because he doesn't want to alienate Putin. He wants to bring Putin in for negotiating to end the fucking war. Yeah, you don't bring people in to, I guess, foster a peace deal by insulting them, bro. That's just not what you do. And Putin, seems to be at least somewhat willing to have a discussion. It's Zelensky who's resisting having a discussion.
Is the guy that said Ukraine started it, and when Donald Trump calls Zelensky a dictator, sadly, a lot of MAGA buffoons out there echo what he said. There are people in this country that,
I mean, that's a poor choice of words. I'll give you that. But Zelensky did suspend political elections. And he also nationalized the media, or at least a great deal of the media. And he also banned the Russian Orthodox Church. So he may not literally be a dictator, but he is taking a couple of pages from the dictator playbook.
Want Zelensky to lose and want Putin to win. So we can go.
That doesn't matter. I mean,
no, actually, no. Whoa. Hold on a second. Wait. David, wait.
Just start yelling, man. Just start yelling into the microphone. Cool, bro. You're doing great.
You're telling me that the president of the United States not willing to answer who he wants to win this war, quote, doesn't matter?
Let me explain.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That absolutely doesn't matter. What matters is that he brings these people together. He gets together a deal, a plan, a ceasefire, and he ends the war. That's what matters. He doesn't need to be saying, I hope this side wins, or I hope this side wins. That doesn't work. That doesn't get people together to discuss a peace agreement. And that's what Trump wants to do.
That doesn't matter? Come on.
I'll explain, because Democrats want Trump to just go out there and just say, Putin's evil, he's bad, he's terrible. Well, what does that accomplish when you have to negotiate?
I will tell you what it accomplishes. I will answer your question, and I will tell you what it accomplishes. It shows us that we will back our allies, and we will call a spade, and we won't bow down.
And then it also means we won't negotiate with Russia.
That is
we can back our allies forever. There
is a difference between negotiating and kissing the ring. It's not negotiating when you say that Ukraine started the war and when you say that Zelensky is a dictator. You call Putin for what?
He's trying to get these people together to negotiate a deal, to come to an agreement. And he's not going to do that by just insulting Putin over and over again. Zelensky is the one that's losing the war. So again, he has to give Zelensky a reality check. And by doing that, he's going to insult him a little bit. That's just going to happen. So what?
He is negotiating when you recognize that Zelensky's not the one with any power at the negotiating table.
Correct. The caller is 100% correct. Like Trump said, he doesn't hold the cards. That's just the truth about it. It's a much, much larger, more powerful country. Zelensky cannot win this war. It's impossible. It's a miracle that he's held out as long as he has. Even with all of this support from the West, it's still a miracle that he's held out as long as he has. Okay, he will lose without support from the West. He'll lose even with support from the West. It's just completely pointless to just push this war along any further.
He doesn't get to dictate what happens, and he seems to
so that he should just kiss the ring of Donald Trump and do whatever Vladimir. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you are.
He shouldn't come into the White House and then start telling the person, the country who's funding them, we're fighting this war alone. I mean, what the hell?
Do you understand? Do you understand? Excuse me.
Do you agree with that?
Okay. How many other boots are in the ground with countries all over the world? How many other boots are how many other soldiers from boots from other countries do they have?
Because they don't want to go to war with Russia.
Because they can't. They can't send troops to Ukraine, dipshit. It would start World War III. What's your point?
Stop.
Democrats here.
Stop. That is what he was referencing. They have their own soldiers that are fighting the war. Yes, they've had assistance financially and with weaponry from other countries.
Yeah, you're really downplaying it. Yeah, they've had assistance, like, okay, hundreds of billions of dollars. Yeah, like that's nothing. Like, bro.
You don't understand the context, David. Now I'm up against the clock. You can call again tomorrow. But when he said we're fighting this war alone, he was talking about boots that are on the ground. He has his own...
That's stupid. That's dumb. Like that's dumb. You know, it takes more than boots on the ground to win a war. It's logistics, it's money, it's capital, it's all of these things. Come on, dude, give me a break.
Soldiers fighting this war. He doesn't have soldiers from other countries. That's what he was referring to. There's a way to negotiate without kissing the ring of an evil, murderous dictator and kissing the ring of an orange orangutan clown. That was an embarrassing performance, and that's what it was, by J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And I am a
cool story, bro. Could you answer the caller's original question? Are we going to fund this war in perpetuity? That was the question. Are we going to, yes or no? Just say yes. Like, just be honest. Don't be a coward and say, yes, we should give Ukraine literally everything that they want and more. Just say that.
Amazed that you are not willing to admit that. But I appreciate the call, David. Thank you as always.
Hey, Brian. Congratulations on going on Piers Morgan. I watched you on there, and I had a feeling at some point you were going to be on there because I see how popular you're getting. So even though you and I disagree on a lot,
well, David, I appreciate I appreciate your kind words, David. If you don't mind me asking, where did you watch it?
I watched it on YouTube.
Okay, how did I do?
I mean, you act like the way you usually do on your show. Just, you don't really hold back, which, again, I disagree with you on a lot, but I commend you for speaking your mind. But the other thing is I really disagree.
The caller's idea of not holding back is to just engage in pointless non sequiturs and whataboutisms and rant and ramble about how Orange Man bad, basically.
With people like JoJo, because she makes the Democrat Party look terrible, which I'm very thankful for. Because obviously I'm a Republican and I want them to look.
Please don't defend JoJo. You have to understand what the caller is saying is correct.
I want them to lose. But she's just extremely obnoxious.
Well, hold on, David.
She had to be muted by Piers multiple
times. Okay, but hang on. Did I make... Now, I'm not a Democrat. I don't represent Democrats, but if I...
Wink, wink.
Was...
I mean, you vote for them and you run defense for them constantly.
All the time you run defense for them. And you kiss their ass. So, yeah, you basically are a Democrat.
Okay,
you can say you're not a Democrat, but you lean left. And even you admit you lean left. I lean left on social issues. I don't represent anybody but myself, and I'm not a registered Democrat. But do I make Democrats look bad?
Yes. 100 fucking 1,000%. Yes.
Yeah, I would say you do.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, no, we're not talking about that, dude. Can we talk about JoJo? Holy fuck. Oh, bro, there is no point in calling into this guy's fucking show. There's just no fucking point. He's just going to talk about whatever the fuck he wants. It doesn't matter what the callers call in to discuss. I hate that shit, dude.
An example is just on Piers Morgan. I mean, you're yelling and screaming. And if you notice, the two Republicans didn't yell or scream, and let's just say, for sake of argument, they were...
Actually, I would say Brian was pretty well behaved on that show compared to how he is on his show. He was a lot better.
Wrong on every subject,
which they were.
Yeah. Well, okay, or if you want to think that, that's fine.
Okay, so first of all, David, you're
missing a certain way. David, going to make you lose. Hence, why Democrats lost so badly last year.
David, first of all, it's called passion. I'm not screaming at the top of my lungs.
It's called hysterics is what it is.
Number two. Hold on. Not on the Piers Morgan show. There are 4 people on the panel. There was a lot of interrupting. I didn't get a chance to chime in as much as... Okay, regardless. Okay, there's a reason. That's number 1. Number 2, to give you some examples of what get me angry is when people ask stupid questions and when people don't provide the facts. Example, I'll give you a preview of what I'm talking about, and I will play some of this stuff on the show tomorrow. Michael Knowles, who I think is a right-wing buffoon, made the case that there was all this fentanyl in George Floyd's body, and that's why he died. Now, that is a lie because there were actual 2 autopsies, and both autopsies did not say the cause of death was drug overdose. The cause of death was asphyxiation.
No, that's not correct. The coroner's report says that the cause of death was cardiopulmonary arrest, complicated by law enforcement restraint or something like that, is literally the way that it's worded. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the knee on his neck or the knee on his back or whatever helped, but George Floyd did have severe heart problems, and he also had a lot of drugs in his system. I don't think any one thing killed him. I think many things killed him.
That's why I raised my voice, because what happens is these people spread blatant misinformation. You also had Matt Schlong, as I like to call him. Hold on.
He tried to reply to you, and then guess what? JoJo wouldn't stop screaming.
Okay. Well, that's okay, but hold on. Let's focus on me for a moment. I'm not going to speak for other people. I'm happy to have Michael Knowles join me on this program, and we could have a 1-hour debate.
I hope it happens.
Okay.
I really do.
Why does he have to be on your fucking show, dude? Why don't you go on his show? Like, that would be the courteous thing to do, seeing as how he has an audience that's orders of magnitude larger than yours. You know, think about that one a little bit.
I'm happy to do that. But I am not making anybody look bad by, number one, being passionate, and number two, having the facts by my side.
You are making people look bad. You're making your party.
You voted.
You don't want to. You don't want to say you're a Democrat.
Okay, so hold on, David.
You're making the party that you voted for look bad.
Okay, gotcha. So David,
I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world.
David,
you simply do.
Let's go through the list in the last 6 weeks. David, is Donald Trump making the Republicans look bad when he blames plane crashes on DEI?
God damn, bro. The guy called in to ask you about JoJo, and you want to talk about the plane crash that happened a month ago. Can you please stop, dude?
I'm just going to give you a bunch of yes or no questions. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. When Donald Trump called Liz Warren Pocahontas, does he make the Republicans look bad?
No. No, I think that's actually kind of funny. And he didn't blame the plane crash on DEI specifically, stupid. He brought up DEI when he discussed the plane crash. He didn't say it happened because of DEI.
So you can call someone of Indian descent Pocahontas, and somehow you think that's acceptable for the president.
Because she was caught red-handed.
She was not called red-handed. She was not called red-handed.
Like 116.
I disagree. When Donald,
come on.
I disagree. Hold on.
Indian, it's nothing short of a.
I disagree. So, but if the president of the United States name calls people at a speech, that doesn't make the Republicans look bad. But if you think the tone of my voice is too loud on a pure smart...
Bro, what are you talking about? You're talking about two completely unrelated things. Something that Trump says in a speech versus you on a radio show or a TV show. Bro, Trump's alleged bad behavior during a speech has nothing to do with your bad behavior. To sit there and say, yeah, I did a dumb thing, but Trump did something bad the other day too, though. Stop doing that. Stop it. Like, that shit is so fucking unbearable.
Hold on. But if you think I'm too loud on the Piers Morgan show, I'm making the Democrats look bad. Do you think it made Donald Trump and the Republicans look bad when Donald Trump said it himself yesterday and called everybody that was on the left there lunatics? Does that make the Republicans look bad?
Are those two things mutually exclusive? Can Trump make Republicans look bad while you can also make Democrats look bad? Do you think that that's possible? Or are those like ideas in your head that cannot exist at the same time because maybe they're too complicated for you or something? I mean, what is that about, Brian?
No, it doesn't. And I can easily explain why. Because here's why. Because when they don't stand up, when he talks about how women are raped and killed by illegal migrants, and they don't stand up and at least clap to that in unison, yeah, they look completely insane.
Okay, so first of all, not everybody feels that way. But when Donald Trump is accused as a liable sexual abuser, and he talks about grabbing, no. He was found liable in a court of law, sir. Not
in a civil court.
Okay, doesn't matter. Does that make the
it doesn't matter.
Republicans look bad?
Because it's not a criminal.
Does that make the when somebody is found liable for sexual abuse? Does that make the Republicans look bad?
I mean, yeah, it has a marginal effect. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So what's your point? Do you, on the other hand, make the Democrats look bad by acting like a complete fucking moron on Piers Morgan? That was the question. You and JoJo. Do you and JoJo make the Democrats look bad? And the answer is yes.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. Hold on, David. David, just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, David, bear with me. So David doesn't think calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas make the Republicans look bad. David doesn't think Donald Trump yesterday calling every Democrat there lefty lunatics makes the Republicans look bad. David doesn't think Donald Trump found liable for sexual abuse makes the Republicans look bad. But somehow I make the Democrats look bad because I raised my voice with passion on the Piers Morgan show. David, You're smarter than that. Come on, man. Come on, man.
No.
You do realize that the overwhelming majority of Republicans don't believe E.G. and Carroll's story, right, Brian? Are you aware of that? Certainly him being found guilty in this civil lawsuit isn't good. I'll give you that. The concept of mutual exclusivity really needs to be explained to you, Brian. Like, these things have nothing to do with one another. One thing could potentially make the Republicans look bad, and another completely unrelated thing could make the Democrats look bad as well, Brian. Do you understand that idea? Is that too complicated of an idea for you, Brian? Oh, God, make it stop.
Look, I'm a Republican. I'm totally willing.
It's called a double standard. He's the president of the United. Hold on. He's the president of the United States. I'm a radio host. And you're okay with
Yeah, what does that tell you? Obviously, that goes to show you, Brian, that the majority of people didn't believe the woman's story then if we voted him into office, dingus.
the president acting like that?
I can explain, because you have to look at the context of each individual thing. When he calls her Pocahontas, it's because she made herself look like a fool pretending she was an American Indian. And when he calls them lunatics, it's because they can't even stand up for things that we should all stand up in unison.
How about when he attacked John McCain? How about when he attacked John McCain? He said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured. Do you have an excuse for that one as well?
I agree. That was a stupid comment from him. And I'm not defending every single thing he does.
So again, I want this broken down. So Trump has said some things that I may or may not agree with in the past. Therefore, you can go on Piers Morgan and act like a raving lunatic and a complete dipshit because Trump is president and you're not. Okay. But round of applause for Brian Shapiro. Just beautiful lefty logic. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. Like, bro, what are you fucking yapping about? Because Trump did something wrong doesn't excuse you also doing something wrong just because he's the president. So what? So what? This is like somebody who got charged with like sexual assault or something like that in the 90s. And they were just like, oh, hey, yeah, but like Clinton stuck the cigar in the intern's pussy. So it's cool that I went and like groped my coworker or something like that. Like, no, it's not okay, stupid. They're both wrong things to do.
No.
God damn, bro. It's not that fucking hard of a concept.
No. A stupid.
No, I agree. It was a bad remark.
Okay. Stupid comment is when you say something that might not be factually accurate. That's not stupid. That is beyond disrespectful and despicable.
Okay.
I have never,
right. It is beyond
I have never in my life, the worst thing I will do is call somebody a right-wing buffoon or a moron. Never in my life have I ever called that or called someone that or attacked someone's service. Never in my life.
If you don't want
Bro, you are really fucking caught up and hung up on this stupid John McCain thing. John McCain is dead. He's been dead. Okay, nobody gives a fuck about the personal beef that Donald Trump had with John McCain or the dumb things that Trump said about John McCain years ago. Get over it. Move on and get over it. You fucking absolute clown.
Democrats to look in the mirror, get ready to lose 2028.
Okay, hold on. David, let's focus here. I'm a guy who raised my voice on the Piers Morgan show, and somehow you think I'm bad for the Democrat Party, which is absurd.
No. Let me explain.
Dude, people like you, whether you like it or not, represent a certain political affiliation, Brian. Yes, that is true. Whether you like it or not, you do. People will see you behave on television and they think, holy shit, our side is crazy. I don't like that. That is true. And the people on the other side will point their finger at it and say, see what we said? Their side is crazy. Look at this raving lunatic on television. They kind of have a point. You have Michael Knowles and you have Matt, and they're very cool, calm, collected. I'm jealous of that for them because I'm not like that. I'm more like Brian, unfortunately. People see that, and the optics of it is very important, Brian. Like, you don't understand optics. That's the fucking problem. Like, obviously, people like you do make Democrats look bad. That is true. Now, I'm not saying you have that much relevance because you're kind of an irrelevant person, but you do have some relevance, and you do make them look bad. That's all the caller is saying, and it's obviously fucking true.
Because I'm not acting like
it's also not just the fucking passion, as you call it. It's the bad argumentation. You just engage in fallacies, whataboutisms, bad faith arguments. You suck. You're a fucking terrible debater. Michael Knowles obviously fucking schooled you.
It's just you. It's the party in general. Look, even Bill Maher said a while ago, who's obviously no friend to Trump, he said Democrats have this habit of being smug and condescending and talking down to people, which they do. To David Pakman, by the way. And that's how a lot of these Democrats act. And people are simply tired of it because of their tone and their attitude. I mean, they act like you're a hateful bigot because you don't want a male, to to walk into a woman's bathroom. How is this
David,
even a conversation?
David, you're making Republicans look really bad right now. Do you want to know why?
Yeah, how is that?
I'll tell you why. Because this is not a top 5 issue or a top 10 issue in any poll
It doesn't
across the
have to
country.
be. It's still
David,
important. People have
David,
daughters.
I think
it doesn't have to be a top issue.
David,
People have daughters, and they don't want their daughters to go into bathrooms with men. It's not a top 5 issue.
David, you're making the Republicans look really bad. So, David, can you cite me any type of evidence that would prove that a transgender is more likely to commit a crime in a bathroom than somebody like you or me? Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Bro, that wasn't the fucking topic on Piers Morgan, you absolute fucking clown. What are you babbling about?
No, and can I quickly explain?
So no, wait a second. You have no evidence.
To just elaborate on that.
Okay, but hold on.
Do you need data to prove to you that a man, scientific data shows that males aren't going to harass women in bathrooms? What? I mean, just on this.
So let's talk about that, David. David, let's talk about that. You voted for the guy who...
How much empirics are there on that specific topic, Brian? Are scholars going out there studying transgender women in bathrooms and their behaviors? I mean, what are you yapping about? The idea of biological men dressing up like women and then going into the women's bathroom is a relatively recent phenomena. How much academic literature could there possibly be on that?
And pageants. And for sexual reasons, which he admitted on the Howard Stern show, went into a bunch of teenage women's locker rooms.
Bro, it's every fucking dumb talking point about Trump. Holy shit. He wasn't talking about Miss Teen USA. He was talking about Miss USA when he was on Howard Stern. Now, he did also own Miss Teen USA at one point, but he was not referring to Miss Teen USA when he made those comments on Howard Stern. That has been debunked. That's long ago. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away has that dumb orange man bad lefty talking point been debunked, bro. Get a fucking grip. Do basic research about the shit that you're fucking talking about, dude.
Admitted that he went in there without their permission, talked about them sexually.
Wait, do you think that's wrong? Do you think what he did was wrong?
David, hear me out.
Sure.
You're talking about transgenders with no evidence that they're committing any crimes going in there, and they're not going in there, last I checked, talking about going in there sexually.
I really do love how it's like everything just goes back to Trump. It's like everything is just like a shoehorn, a full circle, straight back to Trump. Like there is no other topic of conversation that this guy is capable of having. It's literally impossible. You know, he brings up the transgender thing. Oh, well, is there any data? Well, Donald Trump actually talked about Miss Teen USA, which isn't even fucking true. It's like it's back to Trump. Everything goes back to Trump. Like, okay, first of all, dipshit, transgender women could theoretically predate and prey on women in women's bathrooms. I'm not saying that is happening, of course. I'm just saying that is theoretically possible. And also Donald Trump could have done some sketchy things in the past. Those things are both true. Just because Donald Trump has done some sketchy things in the past at beauty pageants he may have once owned doesn't mean necessarily that transgender women aren't doing sketchy things in women's bathrooms. Now, I'm not saying that is happening. I'm just saying that these are two things that could also be happening at the same time, Brian. Just because one bad thing happened in the past doesn't mean we should not focus or not care about something that's happening today that's potentially bad, Brian. Like, do you get that idea, or does that need to be explained to you? You fucking idiot.
Yet you decided to vote for the guy who intentionally, for sexual purposes, wanted to see a bunch of teenagers undressing naked without permission. David, you struggle with double standards.
Think transgender should be allowed in women's
David,
That's completely insane.
David, you voted for the guy who sexually went into women's locker rooms.
The same argument can be applied to Democrats.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Here's why. No, it is not. No, it is. No, it is not. And here is why you are wrong. And by the way, here goes your standards again. The president of the United States, the leader of the free world, you voted for him. Oh, well, transgenders do the same thing. Even if that was true, which it wasn't, you have...
He didn't say all that, though, technically. You could use the same argument to not vote for Biden in 2020. He had multiple sexual assault allegations. It wasn't just one or two women either. It was like 7, 8, 9, something like that. It was like nearly 10 women accused him of stuff. Like, okay.
Double standards that you struggle with. But for example, it's not the same thing. If you can find me a transgender that openly admits to going into restrooms for sexual purposes, then I will agree with you.
The person has to admit it? Okay. Typically, that's not the kind of thing that people just blatantly admit, Brian. Just throwing that one out there. That's kind of something that people tend to lie about.
But you have no idea what you're talking about, because the transgenders that I talk to are not going into restrooms for sexual reasons. Donald Trump did. Do you not understand that fundamental difference? You are making it sound like every transgender woman who goes into a woman's bathroom is, excuse me, I'll say it. David, I'll characterize it the way I want to. You are saying that every transgender woman that goes into a woman's bathroom is doing it for sexual reasons. Is that weird?
Who thinks that? Who thinks that? Ever heard of a straw man before, Brian?
You're trying to claim on this show right now? You know the thought process.
No, that's not what I'm
okay,
claiming.
well, guess what?
That's not what I'm claiming.
Okay, I'm glad we came to that agreement, because Donald Trump went into a female locker room with teenage girls for sexual purposes. How do we know this? Because he admitted it on the Howard Stern show.
Yep. On the Howard Stern show, he was not talking about Miss Teen USA, you absolute dipshit. We've known about this for years. That interview was like over 20 years ago.
You are trying to compare the two, and I just proved to you that there is absolutely no comparison. None, zero. But you're the kind of person that wants to talk about transgenders, David. What is Donald Trump's healthcare policy? Can you please tell me what the replacement plan to Obamacare is?
What about
Can you tell me about JoJo from Jersey and how she's an embarrassment for the Democrat Party? Because that's actually what the caller called in to talk about, Brian, not Trump's healthcare plan.
So what about it?
No, not whataboutism. I just proved you wrong. There's nothing else to discuss with the transgenders and that.
Yeah, there is something to discuss. The thing the caller actually called in to talk about, Brian.
There absolutely is, because it's still an issue. Because Democrats
it's still an issue.
Applaud Trump when he says,
well, guess what, David?
Enter a woman's bathroom.
Well, guess what, David?
How is this even a conversation?
Guess what, David? It's not an issue for me. Do you want to know why? Because when I go into a restroom, I'm not looking to my left and my right to see, who's transgender, who's not transgender. It's an issue for you.
Well, presumably you go into the men's room, but I don't know. I mean, who knows?
What about a locker room?
It's an issue for you because, quite frankly, sir,
where women change.
Sir,
are you gonna answer that question?
When I finish speaking, I will answer your question.
Okay.
Quite frankly, sir, I think it's a big issue for you because you don't like transgenders. You think it's weird.
Okay. You disagree with me on this issue, therefore you're transphobic. Beautiful, Brian.
It's wrong. I think
it's weird when males enter a woman's bathroom. Yeah, you're right. I think that's weird.
Okay. Do you think it's okay? Well, it's one thing.
Yeah, but Trump though. But Trump. Come on, man. Trump.
If you think it's weird, what do you think about Donald Trump?
Dude, I mean, oh my God, you can't make this shit up. What an absolute dork.
Going into girls' locker rooms set for sexual reasons. How would you characterize that? Is that weird? I'm curious.
Yes, it's inappropriate. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just inappropriate. That's all. That's it.
It's complete. Yeah, it's wrong. And if I've seen any substantial evidence that he did that, and
if you see any okay, so hold on for a second. I'm so glad you brought up substantial evidence. You just tried to make the correlation that transgenders going into women's bathrooms is somehow it's sexual with no evidence. I just told you that Donald Trump went into women's locker rooms and admitted on the Howard Stern show, which is public knowledge, that he did it for sexual purposes because he gloated about it. And you're saying, if you have the evidence, David, it's out there. You know what the evidence is. Why would you?
By the way, Brian, did it ever occur to you that maybe, just maybe, Howard Stern and Trump were just fucking around? Meaning like Trump just said that shit because he always kind of talks that way. Oh yeah, they let me walk back there, because I'm a big shot. They don't really care. Sometimes they don't have a whole lot of clothes on. Doesn't really matter. They don't really care because I'm such a big shot. This is typical Trump 101. Like maybe he didn't actually go into the locker room. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe, again, like just because he said the thing on the show doesn't mean he actually did the thing. You do realize that, Brian. He could just be, talking shit. Yeah, you could just be talking out of his ass. He could just be making stuff up. You just never know.
Why would you even begin to say that?
Can I ask you a question?
But you're not addressing what I just said.
Transgender women, which are males, you think they should be allowed to enter women's bathrooms, which I don't know why you think that, but okay. Should they be allowed to enter women's locker rooms and change in front of them? That happens.
Okay, so
Do you agree with that?
There is a difference between women going into transgender women.
Yes or no, Brian? Yes or no?
Okay, guess what? I answer the question the way I want to. You can choose to either listen or interrupt me, and then we're going to move on to the next caller, okay? Now, you're making Republicans look really bad because you're interrupting me and you're projecting and you're yelling. So, David, you're making Republicans look really bad.
No,
David.
Well, he's just stopping you from doing an irrelevant diatribe, which you always do.
David, stop making Republicans look really bad and let me finish. Can we do that? Can we try that? Okay, sure. Thank you. Don't make Republicans look bad. Don't interrupt. So, David, here's the deal, right? There is a difference between...
Do you not understand the difference between a random guy who calls into a show and somebody who's a talking head, a pundit on television and on the radio? Do you understand that those are two different things, dipshit? Does that need to be explained to you as well?
Going into a locker room and getting naked and going into a women's restroom, doing your business in a stall and leaving. Do you not understand the difference?
Oh, okay. So you are saying now on television that you do not believe transgender women should have access to women's locker rooms? Is that what I'm hearing?
Of course I do. And
okay,
again,
so I will answer. So I will answer.
Enter a woman's bathroom. Then why do you? Then you don't think they should allow to enter a woman's locker room?
I just explained to you the difference.
No, yeah, but here's the thing: how can you not understand that both scenarios are completely inappropriate? How do you not get that?
I don't believe. Okay, let me be very clear on this so you can understand. And please don't make Republicans look bad. Don't interrupt me. So if you are exposing yourself to somebody else, no matter what is between your legs, that is very different than going into a bathroom stall. Last I checked, there are not urinals in a woman's bathroom. There are stalls.
I wonder why.
Okay, excuse me.
That is kind of funny. It's like, yeah, I wonder why, because there's not supposed to be people with penises in the women's bathroom, Brian. But Brian's like, nah, I don't know about that. There should be some.
If you listen to me, stop making Republicans look bad. You interrupted again. If you listen to me, you will understand. You see, David, in women's restrooms, there's something called a stall. You have privacy. In a locker room scenario, men or transgender women that haven't had the surgery that still have men's parts, no, I'm not okay with that. They are two very different scenarios. Do you not understand the difference that I'm trying to explain to you?
I understand the difference.
Bro, like, why did he need that long form explanation of his answer to the question? He just simply asked you, so you're okay with bathrooms? Are you also okay with locker rooms? And you could have said, no, I'm not okay with locker rooms, but I'm okay with bathrooms. Instead, you had to drag out your answer. It's like you're paid by the word or something, dude.
Then don't ask me a stupid question. They're not the same.
Not a stupid
well, obviously they're not the fucking same, Brian, you fucking moron. Like, but so what? So what? He was supposed to assume your answer to that question because they're not the same? Bro, shut up, you insufferable twat.
Look, I mean, if you had a daughter, would you think, hey, you know what, this transgender woman, this male,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Do you have a daughter, David?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you personally. Let's not talk about me personally. Let's just talk about you personally.
We're going to die on.
Do you have a daughter, David? You don't.
But I have nieces that are 4 or 5 years old.
David, if you had a daughter and she looked into your eyes and said, why would you vote for the guy that bragged sexually about going into women's locker rooms with teenagers? I'm wondering, since we're going to get personal and talk about do you have a daughter, what would you say if you had a daughter to somebody like that? What would be your response?
Cool story, bro. Hey, Brian, if you had a daughter and she said, I feel like a boy, would you be cool with giving your 4 or 5-year-old daughter puberty blockers so she basically grows up to be an adult and never experience puberty because you don't want to be a transphobe? Would you do that, Brian? What? You know, rather than just sit there and say like, no, you'll probably just grow out of it.
It's just weird. Is that would be your response?
Well, my honest response that I would tell if I had a daughter and she asked me that question, I would say, look, the guy's clearly a pig. He's disgusting. He thinks women are in terms of policy and as a leader.
No. Hold on, David. David, hold on, David. One second, David. Sure. Forgive me. One second, David. Okay. You're a pig when you say you grab women by the genitals. I agree. That's a pig. Donald Trump is a pig. When you
did he actually do that though, or did he just talk about it in front of some other guy when they didn't know that they were being recorded or whatever?
Sexually about going into teenage locker rooms?
Dude, it doesn't become true because you say it 5 fucking times in one show. You fucking idiot.
One can make the argument you're a pedophile. A pig is talking about grabbing women by the genitals. It's disgusting. We agree. I'm not talking about that comment. I'm talking about...
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe we can come to a common ground then. I think we could shake on this. So Donald Trump is not allowed in the women's bathroom, but also transgender women are not allowed in the women's bathroom, okay?
Bragging sexually about going into teenage girls' locker rooms. So with all respect, it's not a pig. You are literally a pedophile. That's what Donald Trump did. Do you not understand the difference between somebody that's a pig and somebody that wants to see teenage girls naked? Do you not understand the difference?
First of all, if you want to get real technical, pedophile is for a certain age limit. It's not a instantly under 18. There's different.
This is like a semantic thing, but technically that's not the correct terminology. Ephebophilia is the correct terminology, but I know it doesn't really matter for the purposes of like a discussion like this.
I see. So a 55 or 60-year-old man who wants to see a bunch of 14 and 15-year-old girls naked is not a pedophile.
Okay.
Huh?
The description.
Hold on.
Again, it's a distinction without a difference for the purposes of the discussion.
Hold on. I want to ask you a direct question. A 55-year-old man bragging sexually about going into locker rooms with 14 and 15-year-old girls to see them naked is not the definition of a pedophile. David, is that your response?
It's called
You're a moron, Brian. You're really dumb. Like, first of all, he wasn't talking about teenagers. He was talking about adults. Secondly, just talking about doing a thing doesn't mean you actually did the thing. And thirdly, the caller is asking you about the definition of the term, which you're technically using incorrectly because you're a fucking idiot.
Empaphile. There's a different terminology for it. And look, I personally feel that that person would be...
you have excuses for everything.
It's a literal definition. Look, I would personally colloquially refer to that guy as a pedophile.
All
but
right.
the thing of it is...
So you voted for a pedophile. David, repeat after me because you're making Republicans look bad, right? David, you vote.
He is so butthurt that he said that. He is so butthurt. He knows it's true, too. He knows that people like him are part of the reason why Harris lost. I mean, these people are unbearable, and Americans hate these kinds of people.
David, you just admitted. No, it's not. David, let's try to connect the dots. You just admitted that Donald Trump is a pedophile. David, who did you vote for in 2024?
See, Brian, again,
Trump, I love him. Just knowing that people like you cannot stand Trump makes me so much happier that I voted for him. I'm so happy. I'm so happy he won.
Nope. You're going to answer my question. David?
Well, just mute your guest whenever they want to actually rebut your stupid, fallacious argument. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
Just admitted that Donald Trump is a pedophile. David, please answer my question. David, who did you vote for in 2024?
This is ridiculous. See, I'm not. David,
I'm going to ask you.
When he gets like this, to be honest, where he's just muting you and is not letting you respond, I would literally just hang up on him. What an absolute buffoon.
For a third time, because you're making Republicans look really bad in this conversation. David.
How many times are you going to say that, bro? Like, how many times are you going to say the same dumb thing, you obnoxious twat?
I'm going to ask you one more time. David, you just admitted that Donald Trump is a pedophile, which I appreciate because he is. He bragged about a man in his 50s wanting to see a bunch of 14 and 15-year-old girls naked. I appreciate you admitting he's a pedophile. David, can you please share with us, who did you vote for in 2024?
I told you I voted for Trump.
Thank you. So thank you for admitting, David, that you voted for a pedophile. But I know you have issues with me because I got passionate on the Piers Morgan show today. David,
so unbearable and obnoxious.
I appreciate you admitting that you voted for a pedophile. Please don't ever call into the show and say that I'm bad for Democrats. You're not bad for Republicans. You're bad for America because you voted for a pedophile and you just admitted it. Checkmate. Have a nice day.
He's so unbearable. Oh my God. What an absolute fucking dork. What an absolute fucking dork. Oh my God.